guys, we're going to be hooking up some power for today's workshop. So today we're going to be using the Nanlux 5000B as well as the M90 and a T12 for demonstration purposes. Two of those require cam and only one of them requires joy. So the blessing of this studio, it actually gives you a lot more options than the average studio. The 120 volt system is very common, especially when we're dealing with a lot of you're going off of a studio power or house power or your generator, as well as the bulbs that we have provided for our fixtures. So just for efficiency, we're just gonna be using the 120 volt system today. So these guys, which come with the studio, sometimes these are like this one, embedded underneath, and you have to plug the cam already in there. So for today, what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be taking these apart, putting our own cam in, running the cam and extending it over there for our tower of power, our 6A box for our lights, just so that way for our workshop later today, we don't have to keep coming back here to explain all the bits and bobs. But before we disconnect these, it's gotta be off. We don't work live. That's a very hard and fast rule for safety posterity. So when we're using 5-wire, which is, cam, green is your ground, green is safe. We love green, green is great. So this is going to be the first thing you plug in because it's basically the fail-safe for anything going wrong. And it's the last thing you take out because it's your fail-safe. So if anything goes wrong, you still want that plugged in. So our neutral, there really isn't much going through it. It's just a neutral pathway as a alternative safety. It's basically the fail-safe for the fail-safe. Then we have our 3 hots. Most of the time you're going with a red, a blue, and a black leg. This is a 3-phase power system. Sometimes you'll have ones where you only have 2 hot legs. But basically, each of them can only hold so much. So that's why we have to balance the load. And just as a common courtesy, this one doesn't have any handles, but you want to usually just make sure the wires aren't dragging. We want to kind of respect the equipment so it lasts a lot longer. With cam lock, because of the way the heat dissipation happens, there's actually quite a lot of energy going through here. We don't want to coil it together like you would usually at the end of a fixture, because it can get a little too hot and a little bit melty, and no one really likes that smell anyway. So what you want to do is you want to figure 8 it just to get a little bit more in heat dissipation. So one little bend over here, one little bend over here, and then there. So now we have a nice area here for our tower of power, as well as a lovely, lovely little figure 8. So over here we have our tower of power. So we have 1 in, 3 out. Always make sure you have your T-caps. T-caps are safety. Safety is awesome. Again, we always start with green. Green is safe. Green is ground. These guys will have a little recess, and inside they have a little nipple. Most of the cam will have this circle or an arrow to start off with. We go through there. Sometimes you gotta do a little bit of a wiggle. Great, it's in. We can twist, and it's locked. So again, got black, and twist. There we go. We still haven't actually turned on our power. We're not working live. Because our M90 does require our 2 hots, but not all 3 or the neutral. We have our ground already in. And we're going directly off the tower of power. Just keep the caps. These ones by MBSE, the caps stay with it, thankfully. But if you don't, just go to the truck, get the T-taps. Here we have a 6A box. I prefer them over 4A. I just get a little bit more options when I'm running anything. So basically it goes from 5-band all the way in. Today, when we're gonna be separating our lights, we're gonna have maybe our Nanlux booth is going to be on the red, us on the black, and then maybe Video Village on the blue. Even though, because of how much that Video Village or even the Nanlux booth is going to be drawing isn't going to be near enough that they deserve their own leg, it's just going to be easy to make sure that there's no crossing, or just from an organizational standpoint that they're good, and we're good. I live, laugh, love labeling. So usually on larger setups, when we just it's nice to know. I do like just having a little bit of, white gaff around, and then we can just label what's going to what, just so you can quickly look at the box and just identify. Because, let's say it trips a breaker here, which is a safety mechanism, we can easily identify, oh, this piece of joy, because it's all going to look very similar. Over here, that one is the 5000B, or that one is the Nanlux booth. So it's just a little bit easier, so that way you can identify what's at the box. So we've run our lines, turned on our main power, and we've already sparked our M90 here. Basically how we go is we're going cam all the way out to our lovely tower of power. Then we have one into a 6A box, one going directly to our M90 ballast over here. With the 6A box, we are going to be powering our Nanlux 5000B. Our T12 we also have through the tower of power as well, coming all the way around. But basically, most things are just evening out on the legs, so we're not overusing one to the other. I like thinking of it like cups. You can only fit so much liquid in the cup, but you also do want to keep a little bit of room, about 80%. How much you want to fill it with that 20% gap, to just for a little bit of safety, a little bit of a bias there. Yeah.